Wow, it has been a long time since I've made a video, but Philip Defranco wanted everyone to tell their COVID-19 stories. So here's mine. So before COVID, I had 3 jobs. I worked at a family fun center that I was the manager of, and I taught Bollywood dance, and I worked at a Halloween prop and mask company. So I worked a lot pre-pandemic. I remember when everything started happening, it was just kind of rumors. You heard a little bit and you wanted it to not be so bad, but you could feel it. It was going to be bad. So I remember at work one day asking the other manager when he went to go pick up some food at one of the bulk stores that we go and pick up stuff, if he would get me a 50-pound bag of white rice, because everywhere else was starting to go into lockdown, and I knew there's a chance that we're going to be stuck in the house, and I was like, maybe that's all we're going to be able to eat. So got the rice, and then a few days later our owner called me and said, shut it down. And it was weird. It was really weird. When we shut it down, it was just like solidifying everything. That it was here, it was bad, and it was just going to be bad. So we didn't really go straight into lockdown in my town. It was more like go to work, but you shouldn't. So it was kind of up to where you worked. So my job closed, and then where I taught dance closed, and then where I make the Halloween props, we sort of closed. After we shut down the Family Fun Center, it was like everything kind of just stopped. It was really weird. I live with a roommate, and she worked at a bank, and they had to still be open. So she was still going to work, and I wasn't. Out of 3 jobs, I wasn't working. So it was weird because I was used to working 50, 60 hours a week, and then I was at home. Now, I'm a homebody. I can stay inside the house, and it does not bother me. I could stay in for days, but this was just weird to not have to go anywhere, not have to really do anything. It just felt weird. And then on top of that, there was this worry of what's gonna happen? Are we all gonna die? That's kind of what it felt like. Yeah, like sitting at home was fine. I didn't get as much done as I had hoped. While I stayed home, my roommate still had to work, and someone was sick and didn't know if they had COVID or not. But in the early days of it, the protocol was to stay home for 2 weeks. So we were both stuck at home for 2 weeks, worried that what if we have it? This was before you could easily get tested. This was before a lot of things. And so we stayed home for 2 weeks, didn't go anywhere, didn't do anything, had some food delivered and everything like that. And we watched all of Tiger King. Because that's what everyone did. And once we finished that, we watched a weird show about rabbits. Cartoon rabbits. That was weird. And yeah, it was odd, but I'm a homebody. My roommate, she's also my best friend, is not. So it really affected her. She likes to go out, likes to do stuff, and she couldn't, and it was really, really hard on her. And so I started trying to think of anything and everything that we could do that was free and away from people and just anything. So we went to some trails and walked around. We went to cemeteries and walked around and just anything. But then we had a plan very carefully because you couldn't get food anywhere you went. You couldn't go to the bathroom. So we had to plan everything only so far because we knew we wouldn't be able to stop anywhere. And it was weird just how quickly everything changed. So after those 2 weeks, my roommate went back to work and I stayed home. I was able to get unemployment, which was amazing. I think everyone learned how much money people should be making and how much we weren't. Even with 3 jobs, I did not make as much as I was making on unemployment, which is crazy. But yeah, I was pretty much stuck at home. I did go help a little bit at one of my jobs, the Halloween prop making job, because he still had orders. He was busy and he didn't have any employees. And so we've been friends for a very long time, so I used to go and help for free, and that's what I was doing again. And I didn't mind that because I loved that job. But it was, I couldn't be there very much, and it was weird just to only pop in and just kind of help out a little bit here and there. I think the hardest part of everything was not being able to see my dad. He lives in town, and I would go every single week and visit. And my brother lives a little further away, so I never saw him as often. And my mom has already passed. But yeah, I would go see my dad every single week. And 1 week turned to 2 weeks, then a month, and then 6 months went by. And I talked to him on the phone a lot, but I hadn't seen him. And it was really hard. I remember I was mowing the lawn, and I missed my dad so much. And I remember calling him, and I don't think he answered, so I left a voicemail, and then he called me back later, and I just broke down and burst into tears. And I just told him I missed him, and I didn't know what to do. And so, because all this time, he's in his 60s, and I'm thinking, okay, well, if he does get COVID, is he going to get it bad enough that it kills him? And then I haven't seen him in 6 months. So this whole time, I could have seen him and spent that time with him, and that time would have been there. But if something happened in those 6 months, then it's like, what was the point of staying away? That was my mindset on it. And I knew I had been careful. I know he still had to work. He was still going to work, and that's what I was worried about, was the people he's worked with. I know that they mostly stayed to themselves, but I was really worried that he was going to get it. And so I remember him just saying, like, what do we do? How do we fix this? And he said, I think it's worth the risk. And I said, yeah, it is. So I started going back over there, and it was nice to be able to see him again. And I remember around Christmas, my brother and sister-in-law just drove all the way here just to stand apart and wave. So, But it was nice to see them, even if it wasn't for like real. But yeah, I think though, once I started going to my dad's again, that's when I got off unemployment and started working again at the Halloween company. And I worked there full time now. And it was weird, because that is the job, that was my dream job. And I started it right after I started the Family Fun Center. And that's the job I always wanted. And I always wanted to be full time. And then it was happening. But it was weird because my other job was still there. It's just we weren't open. So I remember my boss asked me, like, hey, if you want to stay full time, you can. And I did. I wanted to. And so the weird thing is, through everything, I ended up going full time to the job that I loved. But it was hard because the Family Fun Center was a local business and it wanted to open again, but we just weren't able to because we were worried, kids, before the vaccine, we didn't want to open. It was too risky for the kids to be there. And so it was like this weird thing where it just kept getting further and further away from me until finally the time came when it was to open again. And I told the other manager that I wasn't coming back. And it's weird because I helped build that place a little bit. We helped renovate and paint it, and we were very hands-on there. We were in charge, made all the decisions, and I did love that job, but it was nice to kind of be able to walk away and do the thing that I wanted to do. So now it's like I technically still work there, kind of. I just help out here and there a little bit, but they just did another kind of little renovation and I didn't help with it, and it was the first time I've not helped do something with the tubes and the we call it a maze, but yeah, it was the first time that I wasn't there for it. It was weird. And now there's all new staff, and it's like nobody knows who I am, and it's just weird that it's changed in that way. That's the thing that that's the thing that made that push, was COVID. So it was weird that's why. But yeah, and now it's weird because everyone's kind of acting like things are normal, but they're not. Everything's still very much happening, but it is getting better. And that's something that's really nice. The weirdest thing, I think, with all of this is I've completely lost all sense of time. It feels like 2020 and 2021 did not even happen. I have no idea when things occurred and what year, if it was 2019, if it was 2020, 2021. I don't even know. And it's just like those 2 years got deleted, and it's just this weird limbo that doesn't really fit anywhere. And it's crazy because I turned 30 in this time, and it feels like it didn't happen, but I just feel like I've been 30 forever. It's weird. It really doesn't make sense, but it's just all sense of time is gone. I'm still having trouble with that. Um, the best thing, though, to come out of it is that little creature right there. I found her outside when she was like that big. And, yeah, she's, oh, she's licking the other cat, but she's really great. She's a little monster, goblin, but I love her, and she gets along with my other cat, and that's great. So that was something that was very needed was her. I spent every night coaxing her to come inside for about 3 weeks, I think, and I think that helped a lot, having this little creature to take care of and distract, kind of, on top of everything else. But the other thing that's really weird is I have lost all people skills. I've always been an awkward person when it comes to talking to people, but now it is really bad. I've not had a lot of interactions with people. At the Family Fun Center, I hosted parties and I had to talk to people every day, and I was pretty decent at it. But then my other job is not a customer kind of thing, so it's I just sit at my desk, which I prefer, alone, and it's nice. But I went to the bank the other day to talk to one of the employees about something, and she was like asking me questions. I just stared because I just wasn't like comprehending. I was like, oh no, she's trying to ask me things that I need to answer. This is not just, we don't just stare, and we have to remember how to speak to people again. So yeah, it's crazy. I feel like I do need to like kind of relearn how to people. But yeah, this last few years has been kind of a whirlwind of emotions and ups and downs, and thankfully for me, there was a lot of positives that came out of it. I mean, she came out of it, and getting down to one job that is the one that I wanted the most, that's nice. And I do miss dancing, though. I haven't had a class since the beginning of COVID. I remember before it was kind of here, but it was still around, wearing masks in class and everything. And then once it hit, they closed, and I haven't had a class since then. They've reopened, but they don't have as many people anymore signing up that they used to. So I do miss that, but I know there'll be a time again that I can dance. But yeah, it's weird. We're in this crazy world of chaos, it feels like, and when people should be all coming together and really joining forces, I feel like it's sort of the opposite, and we've become more separated than ever. That's the worst time to be like that. There's so much happening that's just crazy right now. But maybe we'll climb back out of this kind of hole that we're in. And it's nice to see at least that COVID seems to be kind of on the up. I know it's kind of not, but people like to seem like it is, so I kind of just don't even know anymore. I'm just doing what I used to do, I guess, going to work, but like being more careful and aware of everything and everyone, and Yeah, it's like all relearning, how to relearn this new society that we're in and this new way of normalcy, as they say. But yeah, I know I was lucky, I think, through all of this, and I know, there's still time, but there was a lot of positives, thankfully, that sprouted out for me, and I know a lot of people were not that lucky, and I hate to think how many people really suffered through all of this, and still are, and will still, and, I could be right back in that, too, but I don't know, it's just weird right now. It's like the unknown, and I think that's the hardest thing for everybody, is no one knows anything. there's there's no predictions for anything that has happened or anything that will happen, so I think that's been one of the most difficult things. But we're here, and we're gonna keep chugging along, because that's what we do. Humans are resilient, and we will keep being resilient until we're gone, I guess. So, yeah, that was on a bad note. I'm sorry. But hopefully we can all come together and make more positives. But yeah, so that's it. That's my COVID story. Thank you for listening. And yeah, I'll see you later.